Let's call the business meeting of Florence City Council to order. Please stand. We pray
for the wisdom to make decisions that are beneficial to the people represented here. Empower us to speak honestly, reflect wisely, and vote with integrity. We seek your guidance tonight. Amen.
At this time, I'd have the Florence Elementary Girl Scout Troop. You guys mind telling us your names? Sophia, Sadie Mae, and Charlotte are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So we're all going to face the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carroll.
Present.
Ms. Chambers.
Here.
Mr. Nguyen.
Here.
Ms. Kemper.
Here.
Ms. Wingo.
Here.
Mr. Osborne. Mayor, we have a quorum.
I'd like to approve the minutes of the special meeting of October 15th, 2024. Is there a motion to approve? Mr. Nguyen?
Second.
Second, Ms. Wingo. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. It is our pleasure tonight to introduce the Superintendent of Boone County Schools, Dr. Jeff Oswald. Dr. Oswald replaced Matt Turner as the superintendent on July 1st of this year. He comes from Bloomington, Indiana, and he formerly served as the Monroe County Schools in Bloomington. Or no, is it in Burlington?
In Bloomington.
Bloomington. Okay, I was like, that might be a typo. He has served 27 years in education as a teacher, principal, athletic director, assistant superintendent, and superintendent. I had the pleasure of meeting with Jeff earlier, and I know that he is a ball of fire. I don't know if you've seen his back to school video, but you need to check it out because you can really see his personality coming through and his dedication to the students. And we all know that students learn when they're having fun, and I think that he shows that you can do both. So, Jeff, welcome, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself. I'll try to keep it mostly introductory. Of course, you're welcome to ask me any questions. And I'd be happy then to share back on areas of interest, areas that are really closely aligned with your mission or with your goals, your action items, or whatever it is, and however we can partner. I know how important it is. We talk oftentimes that the community, the vitality of a community is sort of a three-legged stool, right? And that's government, and that's education, that's commerce, and then of course working together with our citizens. And so it's so important that education and the role of government be intertwined. I mean, we are part of government, but nonetheless we see ourselves as partners with you. So again, Mayor, council members, other officials, thank you for the opportunity tonight. Again, I did not bring a formal presentation because I really just would like to do a brief introduction, tell you just an overview of a few things that we're doing, items that we're prioritizing, so that you can sort of think about those, and then of course let the mayor know if there's areas of specific focus, things that you would like to challenge us on. Again, we're here to serve our students, we're here to serve our families, but in many ways we're here to serve you as well. So I do come from Indiana. I will tell you briefly that I didn't know you were going to read my entire resume, but your city attorney about fell over in his chair. So I'm not sure if that was Bloomington or if that was he knows that's where IU is. So oh yeah, I'll take that as that you're a Hoosier fan too. And so. Maybe not. I don't want to get the mic turned off. So, but yeah, I grew up in southern Indiana in an agrarian family, just near the Ohio River, close to Louisville, a small town called Corydon. And then I've had the opportunity to work there. I moved to northern Indiana. I was a superintendent. I did other things, of course. You kind of read them. I moved to northern Indiana. I was superintendent in Kokomo, Indiana for 11 years. That's where I was introduced to something called wind chill, where it's nice and flat. I was in Bloomington, Monroe County for 3 years, and then now when the search agents call and they say, "Oh, we've got a great deal for you," and they said Boone County, and I said, I don't know, and I said, let me look into it. And the more I read and the more I talked to my wife Cassie and started thinking about it and praying on it, it just seemed like a perfect fit. I found out what an amazing area Northern Kentucky is, what a great community Boone County is, including the city of Florence. And it just seemed like a great fit. And then, you know how this is, you get really excited and you put you throw your name in the hat. And then you're like, oh, I hope that this works out, because now I really have quickly become interested in the workings of this region. So anyway, from that process in May, I was given the opportunity to serve as superintendent, and I've hit the ground listening, as they say we should do, right? And so again, that's part of the importance of getting to really know the community, engaging with a lot of stakeholders, with a lot of community groups. You talked about the schools. I try to start almost every day in a school. Or at some point during the day, visit a school. I find that keeps me grounded, keeps me able to engage. I'm also, Mayor, I'll send some dates. I'm having coffee with staff members at all the schools, with all 30 different sites, 27 schools, including the ones in Florence. You're always welcome to stop by anytime. And just to have a listening ear and to provide empathy and support, understanding, and then hear the questions and concerns of our staff members, right? We've opened the year this year. Our enrollment is over 20,000 students. We have 27 sites. As a taxpayer, you'll be pleased to know that we're one of the most efficient school districts in the state. And when I mean efficient, we look at the number of students to the number of buildings we have, and our average enrollment's about 900. It's actually probably bigger than it should be for some of our elementaries if you look in terms of learning theory. But nonetheless, what that means is we're very efficient. Our schools are not only well staffed, but the number of students we put in each building reflects a type of fiscal conservatism that we think reflects the fact that we do it well, but we also watch our dollars. As our Board of School Trustees adopted its tax rate recently, we are proud that our rate now is the lowest it's been in 12 years. We were able to drop our rate another couple of cents, and still we believe accomplish the things that are really important to our community. That includes making sure some of our upcoming priorities, that we're providing a livable wage for all of our employees, that we're about 50% hourly wage employees and about 50% salary, and that would be our teachers and administrators. That's one of our targeted goals. We're also looking at wage gaps that can grow over time when you do percent increases. So how do we we talk about gaps a lot. We talk about learning gaps, right? Gaps that exist between our students from disinvested communities, our students of poverty, we oftentimes say, and our higher our students on paid lunch. We talk about gaps that exist between our English learners and those families that have English as a first language. We talk about gaps between students with learning exceptions, differently abled students, and gaps that exist between students that do not have individual education plans. We also look at gaps in our wages, and so we are continually addressing these things to make sure that we can not only retain the best and brightest staff members and teachers, but also attract. And so that's something that we've begun prioritizing and reviewing. I'm pleased to share with you that we opened our school year almost fully staffed. Of course, last-minute resignations introduces complexities into that, right? It's continual. I know if you talk to those within HR, but we operate nearly 200 buses. 27 sites all throughout Boone County. Not only do we do it efficiently, but we are pleased to see that we are beginning to rebound in terms of our staffing levels. So that's something that I'll share with you. We have targeted a lot of conversations we talked a little bit about the achievement gap that exists and what are we doing to address that. So that's coming through a lot of focus. We're really having conversations to make sure that our veteran teachers are serving our historically and systemically marginalized populations, right? We really want to make sure those best and brightest and most experienced teachers are working with our students that need the most support. So we're having conversations about how to best do that. We're having conversations as well about how we make sure that our funds are equitably distributed so that all the students are getting the services they need, and what that looks like. We know that not every student needs the same thing. One size fits all simply doesn't work. And so we're having those conversations. We're investing in just-in-time professional development for our teachers and for our support staff. And we believe that that is going to give marked improvements academically. We have adopted a strategic plan, and the first goal is academic achievement, of course. The second goal is related to meeting the needs of our staff, and professional development's included. The third's on community. I'll mention that in a little bit. And then the fourth is our business operations and our efficiency. But we're pleased that our scores just came out from last year. And we are, of course, the third largest public school district in Kentucky. About slipped there. And we are the second highest performing of all of those large districts. And the district that's slightly higher than us is significantly further down in terms of they're the 10th largest school district. So we really are doing well. We're also pleased this year that we saw marked improvement with our English language academic performance. As you're well aware, particularly many of our schools in our Florence cluster, the number of English language students is growing rapidly. It's creating a strain. We're really working to make sure that we have all of the personnel needed to provide the services so that those students don't just hit the ground learning English, but that we have the design so that they're able to advance in their academics, including math and science and social studies simultaneously while they're learning English. That's really important so they don't fall further behind. We're investing in the technology to do that. We're trying to create comprehensive communication devices and services. Right now, we sort of have 27 different communication media, if you will, or mediums, and we're trying to unify that and improve that using more AI software so that we can provide translation services in more than 100 languages to our families, and to remove the antiquated practices we kind of have where we actually have people literally translating each newsletter. We've got to be more efficient with that so that those that are bilingual or multilingual have the ability to work directly with our students and learning English. That's something we're working on. And then, of course, we talked a little bit about our overall efficiency. We're watching our growth of our numbers. As you're well aware, we continue to see enrollment growth with projections of probably about 3,000 students in the next 5 to 7 years. So we're kind of watching that, creating a facility plan, mindful of that. And then lastly, we're really focused on our Ready to Learn rates. If you're unaware, Ready to Learn is just when students enter kindergarten, it's having the basic skill sets necessary to learn. It's not that what they know in terms of calculus or anything like that. But what we ask is that they've had enough, that they've seen books, they know how to hold books, they know how to communicate, cooperate, participate, listen, those types of basic skills. That's Ready to Learn. And what we know to be true is that if a classroom starts the year and they have 20 kindergarten students and 5 of them are not ready to learn, we're able to provide scaffold drop back instruction for those 5 and continue to move along. However, in the same situation of kindergartners, if we have 20 students and 15 of them are not ready to learn, we have to start at a foundational level, and it's a deal breaker. It just really sets us back and sets those students back. So we're really working within our budget to expand early childhood education and provide more seats. We're preparing to build a early childhood center, and that will open by 2027 to provide more of those services, because that way when our students enter kindergarten, they're ready to learn. And that's one of the in terms of effect size and investment, it's one of the largest effect size to have students reading at grade 3, math at on level by grade 6, and graduating on time. And we know that for every dollar we invest in public education, right, in a K-12 setting, the return on investment to a community is $20. So we see public education as investment. We know Kentucky has had a system of common schools for more than 100 years, and we're proud to be part of those common schools, part of the public school setting. Being from Indiana, I've come. I have had the opportunity to work in a state where competition has been introduced, and that has actually resulted in more segregation of students, less money per pupil, and I've experienced those effects. So we're really proud of the public school that we have here in Boone County, and we're proud of the partnership opportunities. So it's just a little bit about what we're working on. That's all I've learned in 3 months. That's all I got. But if anyone has any questions for me or anything that I can take back, again, and you're welcome to communicate that later through the mayor. She and I know we've already developed a working relationship, and I know that we'll continue to do so and really advance education in the city of Florence. And I will tell you, I have found a home, and I am a Florence resident.
Hey, all right.
Yeah, all that they woke up.
Yay.
So I do. I'm proud that I am. My wife and I are residents of the city of Florence.
Very good.
Any questions for me? If not, thank you for the opportunity. You said I had 90
You did
minutes,
great.
but I tried to keep it.
You did
I
great.
tried to keep it short. Mayor, thanks, and
I
thanks
have
to
a
everyone.
question.
Yeah.
Leslie.
You touched on competition in Indiana that you experienced. In 2 weeks, our voters have to make a decision on how they're going to vote on Amendment 2. Could you elaborate a little bit on how such an amendment had affected the Indiana schools and share with us any research that you've done or that your board has done?
So what I will say is that as the state of Indiana introduced charters and then vouchers for all eventually, what we found was that the students that took advantage of those were students that were high performing and were on paid lunch, generally not our marginalized population. So it began to segregate our students in Indiana. And what we also know is that the greater the poverty, the greater the percentage of poverty, the more it costs to educate a student. And so as you get poverty density, it's not a linear relationship. The cost doesn't go, it's not linear, it's exponential. And so as our paid lunch students began to take vouchers, what we began to see in public education is greater density of poverty. So it had greater costs. We also, we experienced that. And in the state of Indiana, they introduced, originally it was a concept to, try public schools first, but they then began to say, no, you don't have to. So they began funding more students who never attended a public school, which introduced 10% more students to the numerator of the formula with less money in the denominator. And so what that did was that had an impact on per pupil funding. So Indiana's salaries and teacher wages really stagnated. A matter of fact, we were the slowest growing over the last 25 years. So it created a lot of challenges. Of course, the interesting thing with the Kentucky amendment is that unusually so for a constitutional amendment, it's light on details. There really aren't. It just simply says we were going to give permission for the legislature to do what they want. And so without knowing the details, it's hard to make those comparative analysis. It gives them permission, but of course, the devil's in the details to know. So it's hard to really compare, not knowing what this permission, if it passes, would do. So that's just a quick oversight of the experiences I had with some of the choice movement. And in Indiana, to be clear, it was school choice, not student choice. Students didn't have a right to attend. They had to show oftentimes their test scores. They had to meet other criteria. They could be imposed barriers to them. So it really wasn't student choice, it was school choice. And there's a big difference. So it's just a quick overview. Thank you.
Anyone else have a question?
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. We have ordinance 018-2024, second reading of an ordinance relating to personnel, amending ordinance number 013-2024, 09-2024, and 04-2024 relating to personnel policies, job descriptions, authorized positions, and the pay plan. The purpose of ordinance 018-2024 makes revisions to the job descriptions pay plan and the list of authorized positions sections of the personnel policies and procedures. The full text of ordinance 018-2024, including its exhibits, is available for examination in the office of the city clerk, City of Florence, Kentucky, 8100 Ewing Boulevard, Florence, Kentucky, during regular office hours. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mr. Carroll?
Second.
Second, Ms. Wingo. Any discussion? We did discuss this last week and I believe the week before, so any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll.
Yes.
Ms. Chambers.
Yes.
Mr. Wynn.
Yes.
Ms. Kemper.
Yes.
Ms. Wingo.
Yes.
Mayor, motion passes 5-0.
For the mayor's report, just a reminder, Florence residents are able to pay annual city property taxes at the Finance Department. The Boone County Sheriff's Office is also stationed in our Finance Department so they can collect your county property taxes. The Halloween Art Contest runs this Friday, October 25th, and we ask that you submit all your projects to the Administration Department by this Friday. The City of Florence Leaf Collection runs through December 19th. Contact the Public Services Department at 859-647-5416 for more information. And the schedule is also on our website, florence-ky.gov. The Florence Police Department is participating in the National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day this Saturday, October 26th from 10 to 2. There's 2 drop-off locations, the north parking lot of the Florence Government Center and the Florence Kroger Marketplace at 7685 Mall Road. If you need additional information, call the police department at 859-647-5420. And Chief, you can attest, we are one of the largest sites for getting the prescription drugs taken back, so.
We bring in the most poundage for any other departments in the area.
They do not accept liquids. So if this is a great time to make sure medicines are out of your home so that children can't get a hold of them or pets. So it's a great service. Our annual Halloween Night Out is set for Tuesday, October 29th at Thomas More Stadium, home of the Florence Yalls, from 6 to 8. Contact the Administration Department if you'd like to obtain more information. That's 859-647-8177. Trick-or-treat hours are on Halloween, as they always are. Thursday, October 31st, from 6 to 8 p.m. If you'd like to participate, leave your porch light on. The City of Florence is having a food drive. We're collecting non-perishable food items, including peanut butter, canned fruit, fruit cups, applesauce cups and pouches, canned tuna and chicken, dried beans, tomato sauce, fruit bars, and granola bars to benefit the Collins Elementary Family Resource Centers beginning November 1st through November 15th. You may drop off your non-perishable items here in the Florence Government Center lobby beginning November 1st. In partnership with Florence Christian Church, as part of our Veterans Day program, the city will be hosting the Witness Tree event. This event will be held beginning November 1st and run through November 11th daily at 8 a.m. It is a short program, but it is beneficial because it is intended to raise awareness of the estimated 22 veterans who commit suicide in our nation each day. The daily ceremonies will include placing 22 dog tags on a tree, readings, meditative thought, and reflection. Additional resources will be available for participants. The City of Florence will hold our annual Veterans Day program on Saturday, November 9th at 2 p.m. right here in the Florence Government Center community rooms downstairs. And with that Veterans Day weekend, we're going to have our Honor Run half marathon. It's going to be held the morning of Sunday, November 10th. It begins at the Florence Yall Water Tower. There are road closures during this race, so please take a look at our city website and social media to get the route to see what times and which roads are closed. One of the biggest household hazardous waste collection events is at Thomas More Stadium, home of Florence Yalls. That's scheduled for November 2nd from 9 to 2. It's a registration form must be filled out, and you may obtain the form on our website or on the county website. You must be a Boone, Kenton, or Campbell resident to participate, and they ask no businesses to participate. Please contact the Boone County Coordinator, that's Ken Points, at 859-334-3151 if you have any questions. We got lots on the mayor's report tonight. The Florence Police Department is participating in the 7th Annual No Shave November benefit. All proceeds from funds collected will benefit Cincinnati Children's Hospital Cancer Unit. Each participating officer will have to donate at least $25 to this worthy cause. And this year, they've set a goal of raising $2,500 for Cincinnati Children's Hospital. Anybody can participate and donate, and the link is on the Florence Police Department's Facebook page and the city website. Next is a 5th Tuesday, so there is no meeting schedule. Instead, we invite you to our Halloween night out. Please note that there will be no meeting on November 5th due to the election. However, that meeting will be rescheduled for November 6th at 6 p.m. For election information, we ask that you visit the Boone County Clerk's website at boone.countyclerk.us or contact the Voter Registration Department at 859-334-2130. Just a little more information about the election. There is in-person absentee voting, excuse only, from Wednesday, October 23rd through October 30th at the courthouse in Burlington, at the fiscal courtroom, and that's during normal business hours. There is in-person early voting. You don't need an excuse. And it is either at the Boone County Enrichment Center, that's on Patrick Drive in Burlington, or at the Northern Kentucky Area Development District right here in Florence. And those hours of operation are Thursday, October 31st from 9 to 6, Friday, November 1st from 8 to 5, and Saturday, November 2nd from 7 to 3. On Election Day, voters may cast their ballot on Tuesday, November 5th, from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the precinct location associated with their address. And you can find that at the county clerk's website, as well as you can call 859-334-2130. And just a reminder that every year it seems like someone shows up at the polls. They have a Florence mailing address, and they think they can mail or that they can vote for a city council or if it's a mayor's race, and they soon find out that just because you have a Florence mailing address does not mean you live in the city of Florence. And also, if you have a Union mailing address and you happen to live in Orleans, you are absolutely a Florence resident and can vote in city elections. So we do want people to remember that. We do also want people, despite whether or not a political party endorses a candidate or not, this is not a political party race. It's a nonpartisan race. So therefore, as I say, potholes don't have parties. The ambulance is going to show up to your house, whether you're a Democrat or Republican or Independent or Green Party or whatever you are. Our parks are free and open for recreation for all residents, no matter what party they belong to. So that's the kinds of issues that we deal with here in the city. They are not partisan issues. So I just remind everybody that don't vote a straight party ticket, because you will not be weighing in on some nonpartisan races as well as the constitutional amendments. With that, we do need a closed session, so I will entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to KRS 61.8101C litigation proposed or pending against or on behalf of the city. And we have a motion by Mr. Nguyen, second by Mr. Carroll. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We will go to the caucus room for a closed session, and we will return to this room to adjourn. We do not anticipate any further business taking place. Thank you all for coming.